Hey everyone, in this video I want to talk about 14 of my favorite desk accessories, and these range from some very productive ones like this back here to some much more fun, lighthearted ones like this right here. And so no matter what you're using your desk for, whether that is for work, for school, for productivity, like at home, maybe doing online shopping or whatever, budget management, or maybe even just gaming, whatever you use your desk for, there should be something in this video that is either great for you to buy for yourself and just make your desk a little bit better, or potentially a great gift for somebody else who uses their desk a lot. So these are things that I really like, that I use on a daily basis, and I hope you enjoy them as well. Now, there are 14 different desk accessories. Before we get into number 14, quick little disclosure here. It's kind of a healthy mix in this video of products that I purchased with my own money. Some of them I made like with a 3D printer, for example, and some of them were sent to me for previous videos for free, but there's no obligation to those brands and they don't have access to this video before it goes live. There is, however, one sponsored item. We'll talk about the sponsor later on in the video, but all the rest are completely unsponsored. So with that being said, let's get into number 14 here. This is none other than the Stream Deck. Even though the name really implies it's meant for creators streaming online, it's actually very useful for basically anybody out there. So quick little summary of what it is. Essentially, it is just a macro keyboard that is completely customizable. So you have 8 buttons on the top, one little touch screen in the middle you can swipe back and forth on, and 4 dials on the bottom. So by default, if you press like the top left button, it'll go into your apps, and you can have this open like the calculator app, or you can go into the software on your desktop and change that to open a bunch of like Chrome tabs or Excel or whatever you're using a lot. So if you're somebody that uses Microsoft Office and that whole suite a lot, maybe you program the buttons to open that. If you do a lot of video editing, maybe it's going to be some useful tools while you're in Adobe Premiere Pro, for example, or whatever you're doing. This is essentially just a macro keyboard that's super customizable that allows you to just access more and open some automations without having to type onto your keyboard and open them manually or go into like your applications folder and stuff like that. And you can take this as far as you want with customizations. I've seen people use this to open a bunch of different Chrome tabs for like investments, for example. So they have all their different investment research tabs. They can look at different stocks and stuff like that. Just an easier way to get your workflow streamlined with just a nice little aesthetic array of buttons here. And the buttons, as you can see on the top, actually have little displays in the back as well. So they'll change for the right icons based on what you're opening or what you choose those icons to be in the software. Now, number 13 then, something completely different, much less productive, but honestly, how could I not include this? Of course, a Doodlebob. I 3D printed this one. You can find a lot of 3D models for this. You could probably buy this as well, but this is not just any Doodlebob. This Doodlebob holds my pen. This actually holds either like an Apple Pencil, for example, or just a regular pen. Kind of a fun little desk accessory that, I don't know, people come over to my desk and they kind of always comment on that. It's just such a cool thing to have. Now, getting back to something very productive. We're kind of alternating between fun and aesthetic and, highly productive desk devices. Number 12 here is none other than the CalDigit TS4 hub. I've tried so many different hubs or dongles to plug in more things to my laptop or my desktop or my PC, whatever I'm using. I find that most of them out there just absolutely suck. They're terrible. You can plug in like one flash drive, and then as soon as you plug in HDMI, like it bugs, it really just bugs out. Like it gets really slow. The display doesn't really work well, and they never work as well as they're advertised. But this, the CalDigit, works incredibly well. So I'm able to show up with just my MacBook, plug in just one USB-C cable, and instantly be connected to my display here, all of my hard drives, my audio output, my SD cards, anything plugged into here, and nothing is slow at all. It's absolutely incredible how functional and fast this thing really is. I mean, it's not that surprising looking at it. Like you can tell it's really well built, all solid aluminum as you can look at this. And like I said, it works really well. It also delivers power to my laptop. So I could plug in again with just one cable and be ready to go. And then number 11, I think a desk mat is absolutely essential to a desk. This is a really great desk accessory in my opinion, and there are of course many different options out there, but as long as you have something that gives you a nice grip on the table so it's not sliding around too much, it's very comfortable, easy to clean, and in my opinion, the best way to do that, also looks really nice as well, is a leather one. This one was sent to me from Harbour London like 2 years ago, and I've been using it for a while. I actually really do like this desk mat a lot. I'll have some links down below to all the products in this video. Some of them are harder to find, so some of those will be affiliate links. Some of them might just be whatever links I can find out there. But regardless, this is a pretty solid gift. It's a little bit more expensive. I think it's like $70 or $80 right now. But if you wanted to go out and just buy like a cheaper one, there's so many different desk mats, but that is a solid gift idea and a really solid thing to get to upgrade your desk setup. And before we get into the weird plant thing I have, we need to get into number 10, which is the display I'm using for this desk setup right here, which is a sponsor of today's video, which is LG. This is the LG MyView Ultrawide Smart Monitor, and I've been trying this out as an ultrawide monitor for a little while now, and I have to say, it's really quite impressive how much more you're able to show on one display and really multitask. I used to just have like half and half screens or sometimes use like just a full screen like on my laptop, for example, but here I'm able to put them like thirds or even quarters on the display to have more shown on one screen. Also, media is incredibly immersive on such a large curved display, and this is something I find especially interesting because, you know, I'll be editing a video, and then when I want to export the video, I'll just let my laptop, you know, go through that export, and I don't want to like overload my laptop by opening more tabs and doing more stuff that's more demanding. So I'll just switch over the monitor to the smart monitor mode, and you can watch Netflix on here, you can watch YouTube on here. Like, it's basically a TV when it's not being used as a monitor. It's kind of cool to have multiple functions on one device here, and it's really quite a simple, elegant design. So you have all your controls on the very bottom, as well as a remote right here that you can control the entire monitor like that. There's different color profiles, there's sound output on here, there's multiple inputs on the back from HDMI or USB, and of course there's a smart monitor, like I said, so it does connect to Wi-Fi to to play music or videos or whatever you're looking for there. So thanks to LG for sponsoring this portion of the video. They are running a Black Friday promotion. I'll have that linked in the top of the description down below. So if you want to buy the LG MyView Ultrawide Smart Monitor, check out that link down below. And again, thanks to LG for sponsoring this portion of the video. So moving on to number 9, this is something I included in my gift guide as well. I'm sitting right now at my desk, right? But I like having a sit-stand desk. So I have a separate desk that I'll stand at a lot. And when you're standing, you don't want to just like wear shoes. You don't want to just stand on like a hardwood floor. Obviously, you're just a maniac if you're doing that. So what I like to use is a rubber floor mat. So it's actually meant for standing. It's really nice. It's got little bumps on there. You can like massage your foot and kind of, shift your weight around. It's far more comfortable to stand for really long periods of time. I personally do that a lot when I have meetings, for example. I find that if I'm standing for a meeting, I'm much more awake, much more attentive, and way less likely to like fall asleep during the meeting. But going on to number 8 and number 7, these are both going to be more like ergonomic type things. The next one is a laptop stand. This one, I mean, I've tried a lot of laptop stands. If you like one that's smaller and folds up out of like, cardboard or whatever, go for it. Like, by all means, that's nice because it's lightweight. But this one is more heavy duty. It's one that I really like, and it's made of all aluminum. This is the Minder laptop stand. It might be Minder, I don't know. I haven't really ordered anything else from them, but I like this stand a lot. It's adjustable in the height, adjustable in the angle, and it has a little phone stand on the very bottom. So if you have like a folding phone or just any phone you want to watch some media down there under your laptop, very easy to set that down there. I find this is great, again, not only for standing desk, but also sitting desk, just to have my display kind of matching the same height as my monitor so that, it kind of is one continuous display there. It's easier to kind of move tabs back and forth and make some use out of my laptop when it's plugged into a monitor. Number 7 is a MagSafe stand if you have an iPhone. If you don't, then I would recommend getting a MagSafe case for your Android so you could use a MagSafe stand. This one, unfortunately, Anker discontinued, but this is the MagGo, and they have a new one that's essentially replacing this. I'll link the new one in the description, although there is one small difference. So essentially, you just have a stand that you can just drop your iPhone onto. It sticks magnetically, it charges all day, you can see the time, or you can turn your phone sideways, and that'll put it into like the standby mode, essentially showing you like an alarm clock. It'll just show you the time of day and maybe another widget if you have the weather or something like that. But the new version of this is basically just a charger. The old version, you could pull it up and it was like a battery pack on the back. I assume the battery wouldn't last as long if you leave it plugged in forever, which is probably why they discontinued this. But I always thought it was helpful just in case it's like, oh, my iPhone's almost dead, I have to go on a road trip. I'll just grab this and I just know it's always fully charged. That's a cool desk accessory. Anker is a little bit more expensive. Honestly, I think they're pretty reasonably priced for what they are. But if you want to find a cheaper one, sometimes Ugreen is a little bit more affordable. I know they have some similar ones, or to be honest, if you just really want to save some money, in the past I have just 3D printed these. If you have a printer, and then just buy a little MagSafe puck, glue it on there, and you have a homemade MagSafe stand. You can make exactly the height. You can make it exactly the height and the dimensions that match your desk, as well as the color that matches your desk too. Number 6, this is a cool little speaker. I mean, obviously, depending on what your audio style is, you might want some wired speakers for higher fidelity. Maybe you want 2 speakers for some stereo sound. I think this is great because it has a smaller footprint and also has a cool trick up its sleeve. This is the LG XBoom 360 speaker. And so 360 is going to sound a little better in like a larger room. So you hear it from any angle pretty much. But if I turn it on, oh, the battery's dead. But if I turn this on, it has 360 lights around the top. You can change the color of that. And so it acts as like a nice little ambient lamp. I think that's really cool on here. Or if you're playing music, kind of brings it to life a little bit with some flashing colors. I mean, a little bit of RGB always makes the desk a little bit more fun and a little bit more exciting in my opinion. Number 5 and number 4, I know a lot of keyboard and mouse people are going to be very upset with me, but hear me out on this one. I am not a big fan of like the big flat mechanical keys. I'm not a fan of really flat ones either. In fact, what I've really started using in the past is an Ergo keyboard because I find that it's way more comfortable and I can still type incredibly quickly using this right here. We have the Logitech Ergo K860, that is the keyboard here. And at first, like it is really weird. It's going to take you some time to get used to this. But I mean, ask any doctor out there, you would never find a doctor that doesn't recommend an Ergo keyboard. I had like a wrist problem a couple years ago. That's when I bought this. I got used to it. And yeah, I can type faster on this now than I can on a regular keyboard. I really like using this a lot. And then the mouse, I just got this because it has like the ball on there, which has a huge benefit. If your desk ever gets messy, you don't need space to slide your mouse around. Instead, the ball, like you can scroll really quickly using just your thumb on here. And this is the Logitech Ergo M575 mouse. And again, having multiple buttons on here, so your index finger to go, forward or back if you're navigating tabs on Chrome, for example. The wheel, super easy. You don't have to slide anything around. Makes your desk setup also like much cleaner to not have space that your mouse is always sliding back and forth. It's quieter, super easy to use. I absolutely love. I can never go back from like having the ball on the thumb for the mouse. But like I said, I know a lot of people are more into like the retro keyboards or different aesthetics of keyboards. I wish this looked different, but it's kind of the only great Ergo keyboard and mouse, from my experience, that works with Mac and works really well. Number 3, this is for anyone like me that doesn't drink coffee incredibly fast. Like if I chug a coffee, I'm just gonna be so jittery and so anxious. I would rather like sit my coffee over, an hour or so, but I don't want it to get ice cold. So this right here is the Ember mug that heats your coffee, keeps it hot, and it has a little pad right here. So it's not just like a regular hot pad that's gonna, burn your house down. Instead, you can see there's a connection right there, 2 pogo pins and 2 concentric rings in the bottom. So you set it like that, and the mug itself is going to heat your coffee, not this little pad on the bottom. So way less likely to catch on fire if you like drop a paper on it, for example, and also just like a much cooler piece of tech that gives you like a very solid, sturdy feeling mug that additionally makes it much harder to tip this over because you have that extra weight on the bottom. So not that I'm one to knock things over, like I'm usually pretty coordinated. I don't like knock over water on my desk a lot. But if you do, that extra weight on the bottom could make a pretty big difference for you. And I just think it looks nice, like a nice minimal, clean, matte black mug there that matches the puck on the bottom. It's plugged in on the back with a pin and barrel right there. I don't know, like I really like that a lot. That is the Ember mug that, can heat your coffee, your tea, your water, whatever you're drinking at your desk. Moving on to number 2. This is one that you can finally do on Windows and Android now, but originally it was just Mac and the iPhone. And this is a continuity camera mount. So this is something you could buy for about $15 on Amazon. You can also just kind of build one if you wanted to, or you could 3D print one as I have done here. And this is going to be a great way to use your iPhone or your Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, for example, behind your desktop, behind your laptop on a video call. So rather than just having like a low quality webcam or even like a high quality webcam, which still is not as good as a phone, you can use the rear cameras on your phone to get honestly the best video quality imaginable for a webcam, short of plugging in like a DSLR, for example. But by all intensive purposes, this is the cheapest and the easiest way to get great video quality on your video calls. And it's something I do all the time and such a cool little desk accessory that surprisingly few people actually have. And then number 1, I said that I really like this little plant pot. This is something I mentioned in my gift guide recently. It's such a cool little device that just adds a little touch of like magic to your desk, kind of. It looks really cool. Like this plant just has no business levitating above the table, but it does, and that's so cool. And the way it works, of course, is with some electromagnets inside. And so when it's levitating there, you can spin it. You could obviously have a plant in it, as I would recommend, or you could just have like a dollar bill in there or whatever you want to set in there. Something pretty light so it's able to levitate like that, but just kind of a cool little lively thing to have on your desk. There are several different versions of this. You can find them on Amazon. There's like, matte black ones, white ones, kind of a light wooden bamboo looking one. But any style that matches your desk, I think this is a really cool idea to have either at your own desk or like it's a pretty solid gift for anyone who doesn't already have one. Like I don't know anyone who wouldn't think this is a really cool thing to have on their desk. Just a fun little fidget thing, like you spin it, you look at it. I don't know, it's cool. It's a fun thing to have on a desk. So those are my 14 favorite desk accessories. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorites are. I'm sure there are a ton that you like that I probably have not mentioned in this video, but if you watched the video this long, hopefully that means you enjoyed it, and I recommend subscribing. I have some other videos like my gift guide and a few others coming out soon that you might find interesting, just like this video. I'll link those. I'll link those over here so you can watch those next. Thanks for watching, guys. See you over there.